Good morning. Good morning from Brooklyn, New York, to my fellow coffee lovers and coffee traders. It is 8:15 a.m. in New York, and I am doing a spontaneous live to share with you a little bit of the insides of a moral dilemma I have been working through that prompted me to post something and then pull it. And I want to unpack that with you this morning. I just want to share with you a little bit of what happened there. Um, I think it would be illuminating for the viewers of this channel who have been learning so much about the Hasidic Jewish community to understand this kind of um, situation that I deal with not infrequently in my work, documenting sort of a street anthropologist of a very closed world. And I've been kind of going through a bit of a roller coaster, posting, um, going back and forth, and then pulling a video. And I just want to talk to you about the process. And my day freed up unexpectedly, which is not unrelated to all of this. So I thought, oh, okay, I have a little bit of time. I'll come say hi. So before I share with you all of that, I'm just going to say hi to those of you who are here with me on this live. If you're not here on the live and you're watching it afterwards, hello as well. Please leave a comment and good morning or whatever time it is for you. Good morning, Zelda, and also my Oracle. um, and from rainy Britain, where it is not morning anymore. We've had a lot of rain ourselves here. Hello from Toronto. I am going to go to Toronto in March. Perhaps I will do a video about the Jewish community there when I will be there. I'm visiting University of Toronto. I'm really excited about that. I get a lot of tourists from Toronto. I love the people from Toronto, so I look forward to visiting Toronto. It's my only travel plan for 2026, so I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much. I think it's MPass for letting me know that you can hear me. That is very helpful. Um, appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much to my Oracle of Delphi. Delphi is it Delphi? Um, I am going to be doing a conversation in Yiddish with Anna Sternschus, who runs. Uh, I think she runs the Yiddish program at University of Toronto, which, by the way, is an enormous university. I believe they have 100,000 students. I might be wrong. Um, I have a recent subscriber. Thank you so much for joining and for being here. I really appreciate all of you listening and being here. It's been such a pleasure, and for sharing your thoughts in the comments, for being here on lives, and also for coming on my tours. More and more people that I have seen in my comments, I have been meeting on my tours, which has been really, really special. Colleen, I've had my morning coffee in a Texas cup as a result of her coming on my tour. It's just been sweet. South Africa, shalom. Good afternoon to you too. Good morning from here. Okay, well, thank you guys for being here. And let me share with you a little bit of what I wanted to talk about today. So, um, yesterday, a couple of people at the same time forwarded me a video that really surprised me. And it was the women's ballroom in Hasidic Curious Joel, where I grew up, very, very closed childhood there, where very little footage of our lives was available for even us. And this was a video of the women's section of a wedding where the bride is performing a dance with her sisters or nieces. This is traditionally done. I see it at weddings all the time by the bride and her sisters in advance of the wedding. It's super exciting. It's kind of build up for the wedding where they spend hours in the basement or in the bedroom practicing a choreographed dance to special piece of music, which they will perform during the dancing segment of the wedding, which is usually at about 10, 11 p.m., where the music is queued up for a special musical piece that they had prepped, and they perform this dance for women only, the women's section of the ballroom, and everyone kind of stops dancing and watches. So this dance was recorded in high resolution, which is extremely rare. And one of the amazing things you see is all of these women in spitzels, which is extremely um, pious, for lack of a better word, head covering, very from head covering, very like hardcore Kirishol head covering, standing around. They're not holding smartphones, they're not recording anything. They're really in the moment in the way that real, genuine Hasidic weddings are. And they're all watching this bride and her sisters perform a dance. And one of the things that struck me was the bride looked extremely stylish and also extremely comfortable in her body, extremely happy. She had all the moves. She wasn't like physically inhibited. There were so many things that struck me about that. Not least the pure joy of a wedding, which I love. I love weddings. I love going to weddings. I love looking at wedding footage. But also all of these sisters or nieces or whatever they are having such a joyous moment. You can see them creating this enormous memory and being like princesses for a moment in their gowns, especially the bride, who really seemed to be echoing dance moves that I think you'd see on TikTok. And it made me think, wow, this is not only a glimpse into a world, it's a glimpse into a changing world, and it's a glimpse into the women's side of this world. And it is fun and wonderful. So I was really happy to see it. And as I am prone to do, I have this tendency to collect, to feel like, oh, it's a cultural artifact. I gotta save it. I gotta save it. I have been a YouTuber for going on 5 years, but my channel is actually since 2010. And the reason it's that old is I've been dumping stuff on my channel. Every time I see something that I think is worth saving, I'll just put it on my channel, sometimes private, sometimes unlisted. I'll just save it there. And I actually had a story many years ago. Something went viral of a mitzvah dance, the dance between a bride and a groom. And I had this impulse to save it and put it on my channel. I didn't have any subscribers. I had maybe 50 subscribers. It was just friends. It was just there for me to save it. And to my shock and horror, the bride contacted me, or a relative of the bride, and said the bride is asking me to remove it. And I made it private. It's always been private since then. But otherwise, I've put stuff on there without any issues. And since then, there have been so many other channels that have been firsting me to posting things, and so much of Hasidic life has become documented on YouTube that I am really not the source of original B-roll. Something that, though, happened to me as a YouTuber is I've come to understand that YouTube gives precedence to the person who posts first. They become like the owner of the footage. And if someone posts second, then YouTube will suppress it and will really usually push out the first person's post. So there's a little bit of a rush that is created because of the algorithm to put things up first, and a lot of channels that do these sharing Hasidic videos will be rushing to put things up first. And I usually don't do that. I like to do commentary. I like to do to do more like edited content with a specific theme. So I not really just a channel for B-roll, not to cast any shadow on that, but I do still put a lot of things often unlisted on my channel just to save it. And this was so good. I really wanted to share it. It's like a little bit of a selfish thing that I want to share it and I want it to be on my channel. And I know other channels are going to share it. So I was kind of like, do I make it public? Do I not make it public? Maybe the bride wouldn't be okay with it, but she looks beautiful. It's her beautiful moment. Maybe she wants it. Sometimes people want to share their best moments. There's so much of it already online. And anyway, it's gone viral already. And everyone has seen it in the Hasidic community. So, like, it's going to be out there anyway. It might as well be on my channel where I have all of this recent conversation about the issues of Hasidic marriage. Let me show a different side. And so I'm faffing back and forth, yes, no. And then I decide, you know what? I'm just going to not publish it to my subscription feed, which means you uncheck a box and YouTube essentially suppresses it. Unless there's a lot of activity on a video, YouTube suppresses it, but it's still going to be on my channel. So I did that last night. I tend to go to sleep really early. I put it without publishing to subscription feed, and I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning, it has 7,000 views. 7,000 views for a video that was not published to a subscription feed, that was up only during the night, is a pretty good guarantee that that is going to explode, that it is going to go to hundreds of thousands probably. And it makes sense because it's a 2-minute video of a joyous bride that you never see otherwise, doing this performance that is electric to watch with all of her sisters. We all see such different things and we just enjoy watching these kinds of videos. So I'm not like, I wouldn't then be surprised if if the algorithm picked it up, that it will then run with it. So I wake up 4:30 in the morning, which is when I have been getting up since we changed the time. And I have this kind of pit in my stomach when I see that it got 7,000 views, where I think maybe this young bride who is newly married and at her most joyous moment is now experiencing distress because of this video that is everywhere. Maybe not. Maybe she's super excited and she's happy that someone has pushed her out on the stage. Someone told me that she's actually a ballet instructor, that she is a professional. So maybe this is her dream, but maybe not. And on the off chance that it's not, I don't feel like, my inner moral compass tells me I don't feel like I want to be the messenger who creates that distress for her as a new wife in the most joyous, special moment of her life. And like, it was so hard. It was so hard to pull. It's not the first time this has happened. This happened multiple times where I put something up and then I kind of heard this niggling thought in my mind that says, take it down. There's a possibility that someone is going to be hurt in a way that is not just, oh, you sometimes have to have thick skin and the hide of a rhino, but that tells me it's wrong. And this in particular was really difficult to listen to that inner moral compass, because it is so hard to get access to this world. And this is why I wanted to do this live, because I think that maybe the viewers don't understand this. Maybe my viewers don't understand that in an age where everyone is shoving their faces to the camera and everyone is dying for exposure and paying for exposure and paying for advertisement, I am dealing with a subject that is actually so camera shy that I have to, on occasion, pay for access, or more often, get no access and get um, so many doors closed on my face. I have to say, Pearl, who has been the exception, I have never paid her a cent. She's given her time and energy and love of her free heart. She is the most amazing person who has thick skin, who has had no problem not only opening her world, but also saying controversial things and then being able to have a sense of humor about herself, to take the criticism in good humor, to listen to it and to not, like, she's been amazing. She's been the most amazing exception to this. But most people in the Hasidic community, especially women, are very camera shy. And they will want to tell me their stories, they will want to tell me their feedback, but they will not want to be a part of my channel, mostly because they are afraid of being talked about in a world that is like very small world, and they're afraid of ramifications to their reputation or their business. It's so hard to articulate this to outsiders, that there is a lot of social pressure to keep your head down, to not draw attention to yourself, to not become gossiped about, to not um, to not get into kind of the limelight. The Japanese proverb, if there is a nail that sticks out, you hammer it in, is something that I've always thought about in the Hasidic community as well. You kind of are most successful if you don't draw attention to yourself. Now, a lot of things are changing, and this may change as well, but especially in the women's world, which is a world I try really hard to um, represent, to give a voice to. That is not the case. Women generally are very much still trying to keep their heads down. And especially when it comes to my channel, they're especially nervous about being associated with it. I think there are two very special things about my voice and my vision. One of them is that I'm ex-acidic, and another one is that I am a woman. These two things give me a perspective. They allow me to represent a view that I think is important. In a world that's very patriarchal and very male, I think there is an obliviousness about the existence of half the population. It's almost like out of sight, out of mind. And I think drawing that world into perspective in a loving way, in a way that isn't trying to attack anyone, but is trying to bring a kind of a presence, is very valuable. And I think doing that not in a way that is defensive, that is apologetic, but also not in a way that is bashing, is most important, because I don't have an agenda except to humanize voices, and the voices that I feel are not humanized, that I can humanize, is oftentimes women's voices. And I think I can do it effectively because I'm ex-acidic. I often bring up that I'm ex-acidic, and I'm not doing it because I'm interested in shoving in anyone's faces that I'm a secular person, but because I hold on to, when I do so, I feel like I hold on to my independence. I'm saying I am not going to be an insider, and I'm not going to be held to the standards of an insider. And I'm also not going to be a total outsider. And I'm going to come with insider knowledge, and I'm going to bring my baggage, yes, but that baggage is going to try really hard to listen to other people as much as possible, the way I've listened my entire life, having lived among other people of this world. I feel like I get it. I get other people's perspectives, and I can try to keep listening and sharing those views. So, as a content creator from this very unique perspective, um, I feel like what I do is like it's important. It's That's very self um, aggrandizing. Not important. I feel like I want to hold on to my vision. I know what it is, and I want to hold on to it, and I fight for it, and I'm willing to make sacrifices for it, and I work crazy hard for it. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning, but the price that I pay, and this is not a kvetch, this is not a complaint, this is not for your sympathy. This is because I want you to understand. The price that I pay is that I don't get sponsors. I'm probably one of the biggest content creators that gets content to Hasidic eyeballs, and yet I have not had a single Hasidic sponsor. I don't get sponsors because sponsors are afraid what will happen if they get affiliated with me. Will it harm their reputation in the Hasidic community? And those are legitimate fears. These are fears that I am not like, oh, you're silly. No, I understand it, and I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to ask you to jeopardize your business. In fact, when someone comes on my channel, I'm extremely grateful, and I don't expect them to pay for the privilege, because they're putting their necks out, and they can potentially pay a bigger price than the benefits. So why would they want to pay? So I've had so many experiences where I almost get this close to an inside story and they pull out. Or I go into a hat shop and I say, "Hi, can I make a video about how you make the hats?" "No, sorry." "But it's promotion." "We know, but sorry." That's like a small example. A bigger example is today I was supposed to film a day in the life of a Hasidic business owner. I cannot tell you how much this woman is amazing. Me and my camera woman who lives in Hasidic Williamsburg were super excited about this. So this is why my Thursday is freed up, because she got cold feet. She told me in our pre-interview chat that she feels ready to take the leap. She's been paying for advertising. She wants to take it to the next level. Her children are in a place where she feels like they won't be implicated. Usually that means they're already married. She's ready. And I'm like, great, we're gonna show you the video. You will review it. I make sure that anything that can be misconstrued by outside viewers, I contextualize. I'm not here to create cultural misunderstanding. So if someone says A and it's going to be understood as B by the secular viewer, I cut it. I'm really careful. So I tell her, don't worry, I got your back. We're going to work through this in a way that doesn't harm your brand, that just tells your story. And then I contact her and I say, we're working on pre-production. I just want to make sure we're good for the time. And she says, actually, I want to tell you, so sorry. Uh, no. And I'm like, but it's like it's your story is so unique. It's so different. I didn't say that. I said, totally understand. Okay, whenever you're ready, we're here. We'd love to do it. Let us know when you're ready. Um, it's like so hard to tell stories. And then I get all of this feedback. Why don't you show the nice side? Why do you talk about why do you platform all of these ex-Hasidic people? Why don't you show the nice side? Well, well, it's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of trying. Um, and I have this constantly where people stop me in the street. Oh, I saw your video. I have to tell you, I also do this thing. I have this business. I'm like, really? Let's do a video about you. And I say that knowing that she probably doesn't want to be on my channel, but I try. And she's like, no, that's not my type. That's not my thing. Or you understand. You know how it is for us. I'm like, yeah, I understand. I don't push anyone. It's fine. That's fine. But in that context, whenever I do learn something, I am so excited. It means so much to me that I'm like, yes, into the artifact bag. A little something, especially something rare. It's gone into my collection. I am a collector. Those of you who follow my work, I have my schoolwork from years ago. I have such weird things that I've collected, and I tend to collect. I like to collect voices, human stories. That's what I like to collect, not stories of rabbis. I don't care about having an expensive Kiddush cup from the Satmar rabbi. I want stories of everyday people, of unexpected power, dynamism, human life where you wouldn't expect it. Like the story of a nun whose life is so much different than you'd expect if you see her on the train with her face blank and her nun's head scarf. That I want to get. That I want to hear. That I want to document. And it's hard. And again, I don't want any sympathy. I really am not here for sympathy, but I do want understanding. I do want you to know that for those of you who are engaged with my work, to understand what's going on behind the scenes. I did a video that was probably one of my most extensive projects about the Hasidic internet. Me and my editor, Steve Milligan, worked on it for months. I spent so much time looking at what Hasidic content creation is being created, Hasidic businesses online, Hasidic apps, so much time documenting. And as part of that, I included a Hasidic filtering service. And the reason I did that is I've had Hasidic filters as a employee at the Hasidic insurance firm on my computer. And it was really interesting what it blocked, what it didn't block was interesting. Like if you went to Cigna, which is an American insurance company, there was a filter that automatically picked up faces and put black pixelation on them. But it actually didn't pick up black faces, which was really interesting. So the software wasn't fine-tuned enough to figure out human flesh of all skin tones. That was really interesting. And I wanted to illustrate a part of the interesting nuances. So I went and I purchased one of the filters and I installed it on my computer. I was so nervous that I created a new email address. I didn't want the company to know it's me. And I installed it on my computer and I paid for a membership for like 2 months. My son called it Hasidic spyware. Ma, you installed Hasidic spyware on our computer. What are you doing? Um, and I was like, "No, I have to look at how this spyware works, how this, it's not spyware, how it works." The company was really sweet. I got nervous. I uninstalled it after a week, and they called me and they said, "We see you're not using it. We're gonna stop charging you," which was very sweet. But that was all the interaction I had with them. And even then, I was very nervous. Do they know who I am? Do they know that I'm making a video? Like, will it make them hack into my computer and start to spy on me? I don't have that computer anymore, so I can talk about it now. Um, in the end, we didn't use any of the screen recordings I did of how the filter works because I wasn't able to screen record and we were getting tired of the whole project and the editor thought it wasn't necessary. So I left it. So as it worked in the video, I am talking about Hasidic internet and I talk about this filtering company is X. This is how it works. This is what this filtering company can do. These are the levels it works. And I did it purely to illustrate how a Hasidic filter works. That was my goal. I had paid for the filtering service. I upload the video and I get multiple comments from people saying, "Wow, you sold out. You're just one big ad for this X filtering company." I cannot tell you how hurtful that was because not only have I done crazy things to create a journalistic document of how this filter works, I have totally been misunderstood in terms of this filtering company would never come near me. They would never touch me with a 10-foot pole because I am a liability. I am the unkosher internet. I talk about Hasidic sex ed. Even if they are totally fine with me and behind the scenes they tell me they love my work, their reputation as a filtering company would be trashed if they openly endorse me. Like, if my viewers don't understand that, they don't understand a key part of my work, which is that I work from the margins and that I pay a price for the margins, but I garner a very, very important benefit, which is an independent voice, a voice that can be um, more objective. To be totally fair and totally honest, I still make a lot of concessions. Of course, I still am very careful not to get canceled, but as a community, I walk a very fine line. And I'm not like free to say anything I want, of course, but I still have a lot more freedom and I fight for a lot more freedom than I would have had if I was in a position to be in advertising for Hasidic filtering company X. And all of that, I think is 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 wonderful. It's like, okay, it makes it hard, but that's fine. It's totally fine. But then I get to create collections and voices and be on the margins and be independent and put together a story that is human and that I get to share that I think on the whole, despite some ethical gray areas, is good. My gut tells me it's a good thing. When it comes to saving the stories of like a bride and her most lovely moment, I think it's a good thing. But if it can cause her harm, my gut tells me that that is not a good thing. And so this particular video of this lovely bride dancing at her um at her wedding with her sisters, which I love to share and I would have loved to share. I would have loved for it to go viral. It's not for me to share it. Um, and unless the bride gives me explicit instructions, I'll keep it offline and onwards and upwards, other things. Thank you all so much for listening to me talk for 30 minutes. I really appreciate those of you who have been here. I'm just going to quickly read a couple of comments and then I'm going to head out for my day. So Gray says, love your work. I'm a training Baptist minister from London, England. Thank you so much for being here. I love getting people from such different backgrounds. Juvid said Hasidim are largely lineage based cult, so you are a member if you are born into it, even if you don't follow the rules, and can return at any time as opposed to outsiders who have to join the cult. I do think I can return. I actually get asked all the time when I'm going to return. Shalom Aleichem to Robert. Oh my God, Robert has come on a live. Mazel tov. um, David, Susie says, everyone that knows your channel knows you are a person of integrity and cover the community with fairness. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I try. Winrose says, I'm not Jewish, however, I love your channel. I feel you're so respectful towards others. Thank you so much for being here. So, Matis Cheryl says, calling Hasidim as a cult is very pejorative. I think so. I really don't like the term cult. It's such a negative term. It's like cult, brainwashed people. I make all my decisions of my conscious mind. They are just brainwashed. That's how I feel. Um, are you interested in a live where we talk about cults? Who here watches Cults to Consciousness, which has done quite a bit of content on the Hasidic community? Um, I wonder what your thoughts are about that. I think about cults also. Um, Pejorative, I assume you had a typo. Thank you, Kathleen. I respect your decision. Thank you for that. Whatever says Frida, I was born and raised in New York and always curious about Hasidic culture. Had a friend from high school even convert. I've been so blessed to find your channel on my road to Jewish conversion. Welcome. Thank you. Please keep us posted of your journey. Um, Yesterday, I met a New York Times journalist who's working on a book. It's not an article, he's working on a book. Um, First of all, really cool coincidence. He has the exact same birthday as me, January 3, but also same year. Um, I guess I outed him, which I don't think is a problem. But also, what was interesting about him was he told me that he feels there's a growing interest in Orthodox Jewish culture among Jews. I think that's interesting. I've heard of so many converts lately, or people who are in conversion process, but also Jews who are getting interested in Orthodox culture, which I find very interesting. Um, Ben says, I want to say thank you for reading the essay I sent you. Ben, are you the one from the UK? Wrote about your dad? I think that's what it is. I try to read all my emails, even though I don't always reply. And if you send me an email with a question, I really try my best to reply with what I know. SBB, my good friend. Hello. It's really nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Well, let me see. Okay, so Gang says, by the way, it's not a traditional dance. The title says it's traditional dance. So yeah. Thank you for saying that. So the dance is a tradition that is a new tradition. I don't know. I think it's been around 20 years. In my day, it's also been done where the bride and her sisters practice a dance, or you practice dances in advance of a wedding. Does 20 years make a tradition? Maybe not. I totally take your point. Um, David says I'm a permanent member based on lineage. Yeah, I'm not offended when people say I didn't leave. Um, who remembers the story of the guy who converted and even had a circumcision, and then after 5 years of becoming a fluent Yiddish speaker, fluent in Hebrew, fluent finishing Shas, like incredibly effectively acclimated to the culture, decided to leave. Oh, what was his name? Oh God, that's gonna upset me now. Anyway, I contacted him. I asked him to be on my channel, and he didn't want to. And he told me that a part of why he left the Satmar community after converting and becoming so ingrained was he realized he would never be a part of it and I would always be a part of it. And sometimes people tell me they try to join the community, and I tell you my feelings are very much like, I hope you understand it's not a world that, like, it's a very nuanced world, and outsiders are very easily identifiable by insiders, and that marks you, and that creates a sense of it's difficult to feel like an outsider, to feel like you're never fully accepted. And I wish people would understand that if they think, oh, this sounds charming, let me join. Well, hi, Samuel from London. Hello. Oh, you saw me and you were afraid to say hi. You could always say hi when you see me in the streets. It's so nice. Um, Kensington Market favorite neighborhood. I know you have already been to. I have not been to Toronto before. This is going to be my first trip to Toronto in 2026. Well, Samuel, you'll have to rewatch my incredibly long ramble to understand why I removed the video of the bride dancing with her sisters. I'm sorry. Essentially, I felt like possibly it would be hurtful to the bride for it to be online. If she reaches out to me and she says that's fine, which has happened to me before, where I made the decision to block someone and they said, actually, I'm fine with it. And I was like, oh, I didn't mean to gatekeep anyone. I was just being, I guess, extra vigilant. And if this bride says I'm totally fine with it, or someone connects me to her and she says that's cool, you'll see it on my channel again. Well, thank you all so much. Of course, before I go, I want to say a special thanks to my channel members. It is so wonderful to have a channel membership little feature because I get to pre-publish my videos. All my videos eventually come out from behind the paywall. I publish on Sunday mornings. But pre-publishing means there's a small group of people who give me feedback in advance of a video going live. It's super helpful. It gives it a small kind of like trial that I get a sense of how viewers see a video. And I really appreciate it. I think it's $3.99 a month to be a channel member. I'm not sure. If you can't afford it, please don't feel pressured. But if you can and you want to, it really, really helps and means a lot. And if you do it, I want to thank you so much. Some of you have been members for quite a while. It really helps me in my work. And I appreciate you, especially your early comments. Well, I hope all of you have a lovely day. I'm going to head out for my day here in Brooklyn. Thank you all for sharing comments in the chat, for being members, for being viewers, and for being honest, and for holding my feet to the fire, for talking to my gut instinct of when you think I'm right or wrong. I do appreciate that very, very, very much. Sometimes I disagree with you. Some people have said to me, I think you overshare our community, and I might not agree, but I still really, really welcome you telling it to me as you see it morally from right or wrong. I want you to keep me honest. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.